Last week, I published a video about how to say yes in Chinese, and it's not hard to guess that there will be a video about how to say no in Chinese. In case you haven't watched that, I divided there all possible questions into 5 different categories to answer individually with different yeses. And you might think no works exactly the same. You divide all the no's into 5 different categories and you answer them just like you did with yes. Unfortunately, this doesn't work this way. While yes doesn't have a universal translation into Chinese, no does have one. It is 不. Based on that, I divided this video into 4 parts. 1. Why is 不 in Chinese the equivalent to no in English? 2. Why there are so many people who claim there isn't an overall way to say no in Chinese? 3. How no and not in Chinese could be confusing? And 4. How to say no in Chinese with full answers. Hi, this is Chi from Deepling, a channel that makes Chinese easy. If you're new here, this is a place where you could learn Chinese as a beginner as easily as possible and for free, because I've made it my mission to make learning Chinese as easy as possible and as available as possible. If you're interested, you could check a short trailer that I produced where I explained why I offer Chinese courses completely for free on YouTube. Yes, they're free with no strings attached. So if you're learning Chinese, please subscribe to follow all the courses that I publish every week. Now, let's start with the first part. Why is 不 in Chinese the equivalent to no in English? In our last video about yes, I showed you 5 different categories that require different yeses as answers. These 5 categories are fact questions, such as Is the earth round? 地球是圆的吗? Status questions. Is the school far away? 学校远吗? Offers. Would you like some tea? 你想喝茶吗? Requests. Can I watch TV now? 我可以看电视吗? And choices. Are you cold or not? 你冷不冷? Remember how to answer them with yes? Is the earth round? 地球是圆的吗? 是的，地球是圆的。Is the school far away? 学校远吗? 很远。Would you like some tea? 你想喝茶吗? 好。Can I watch TV now? 我可以看电视吗? 可以。Are you cold or not? 你冷不冷? 冷。You can see the yeses are all different. And today, we will first start with how to say no in Chinese to these questions. We will take a closer look into these questions later. But here is the short version first. Is the earth round? 地球是圆的吗? 不，地球不是圆的。Is the school far away? 学校远吗? 不远。Would you like some tea? 你想喝茶吗? 不想 or 不用了。Can I watch TV now? 我可以看电视吗? 不可以。Are you cold or not? 你冷不冷? 不冷。They all share one similar element.
不. And this is why 不 should be considered as the equivalent as no in English.
Of course, knowing 不 is no still is not enough. This doesn't mean you'll never need to learn anything that is related to a no and not anymore. However, if you're just looking at the answer no, there is one equivalent answer in Chinese, which is 不.
But this is apparently no common sense. Many people claim on the internet that there is no overall translation for no in Chinese. So now it's the perfect time to enter part 2. Why it's wrong to say there is no overall translation for no in Chinese.
I know a lot of people won't agree with me because if you Google how to say no in Chinese, you will find a lot of answers and articles online that claim there is no overall translation for no in Chinese, which is just not true. If you take a deeper look at their videos or articles, you will figure out they never really proved their point. They just tell you this as a fact without showing you why this is this way. When I claimed there is no overall translation for yes in Chinese, I divided all the questions into 5 different categories and I examined all these questions. I showed you that these questions, most of the cases, cannot be answered with a yes in Chinese. They need individually a different answer. Only one of these categories can be answered with a yes equivalently as in English. But if you take a look at their websites or their videos, they never explained why. They just tell you there is no overall translation, and here are 5, 8, 17 possibilities how to say no in Chinese.
When you Google how to say no in Chinese, you will find most articles or videos presenting different ways to express no in Chinese. Most of them claim there is no overall translation for no, without any effort to prove their point. The only thing they do is to put a number in their title to attract more clicks. And they all emphasize that there is no direct translation for the word no, again, without any arguments or proof. They just say it, and then they show you different ways to express no in Chinese, as if there is only one way to express no in English.
Of course, if you are learning Chinese, you probably want to know more than just no. And this is just like in English. There are also differences in English between no thanks and no please don't do that. You want to know how to say that. But this doesn't change the fact that no means no. And for that purpose, these 5 categories that I divided the question into come in handy. So you can watch this video and I will show you the no's to all these individual answers. But this doesn't change the fact that 不 is the correct answer here.
That's why I find this comment great. Don't get all mystical about it. That's true for English too. Because if you put it this way, no language has a single word that could cover all the expressions precisely. Seriously, how far would you go? Does get out of here also count as no in English?
And seriously, this is something that really infuriates me. Because this is a typical sales strategy. They try to scare you first and instantly they offer you a service. And then you need to buy their service. This is something that I really hate because it is about common sense right now. I want you to have a better understanding how the Chinese language works. And since it is unnecessarily made that Chinese sounds harder than it is, and since it's my goal to make Chinese easy, I need to fight against this. And this is going to be the topic of today's video. If you're just looking for the word equivalent to no, you have it. How to say no in Chinese, it is 不, just like in English. No means no, 不 means 不.
I think I've made the message clear. How to say no in Chinese, a simple 不 gets the job done. So let's get to part 3.
However, there is one thing that could confuse you, and I think this one thing is the main reason why these articles and videos all get the wrong message and tell other people there is no no in Chinese generally. This word is not.
if you pay a closer look at the answers, you will find out that they are a mixture of no and not. That's because in Chinese, 不 both means no as well as 50% cases of the word not. And whoever claims there is no general way to say no in Chinese, they don't understand the difference between no and not in Chinese. No is a clear and strong signal. No means no. It's an independent word that exists alone. You can shout out no and everybody gets it. I can't say it's like this in every language, but at least in English, German, and Chinese, the languages that I consider almost as my native languages, no means no, period. But not is an adverb that simply describes something. You can almost consider it as neutral. It could be A, and it could be not A. And here, of course, there are different cases adding not into the sentence. In English, you simply add the not into the sentence, such as I drink milk and I do not drink milk. I drank milk and I did not drink milk. You simply add the not into the sentence. In Chinese, it's almost the same. You also add the not into the sentence. The only difference is, in Chinese, you use different words for do not and did not. And here comes the point I mentioned before. 不 only means not in 50% of the cases. It only indicates something happening in simple present tense, which means 不 only indicates things that generally don't happen. You cannot use it to describe things that did not happen or haven't happened yet.
In English and in many other languages, you have tense, and adding a not into the tense helps you differentiate from things that never happened and things that haven't happened yet. But Chinese does not have tense, not like English, so adding a not is more complicated, and this works differently.
In English, not is simply added to a whole sentence. Of course, you need minor changes. Just like the negative form for I work is not I not work, but I do not work. So let's dive in a little deeper. If you ask the question, do you work? The negative answer to this question is no, I don't. And let's take a look in Chinese. You would literally ask, you work ma? As you probably know, ma works as a question mark. 你工作吗? And the answer is still, no, I don't, which is 不，我不工作. And here you can see the first 不 means no, and the second 不 means do not, which means again, I do not work generally. So I guess I'm jobless. Now imagine the question is not, do you work? But, did you work yesterday? In English, it's almost identical to the last case. So the answer is no, I did not work yesterday. Let's make it shorter for better understanding. No, I did not. Now, let's take a look in Chinese. Remember the question for general cases? The question was, 你工作吗? And here, the question would be, 你昨天工作了吗? Le indicates a status as already happened. Let's also make the question shorter for better understanding. 你工作了吗? And the no to this answer cannot be 不，我昨天不工作. this sentence would be wrong. Just like you can't say, "No, I don't work yesterday" in English. The answer to "Did you work?" can only be "No, I didn't." So the correct answer must be 不 Yesterday, 我没有工作. And here, I'm finally proving my point. No is always 不, period. And then, when we talk about not, generally, there are two possibilities. Something that generally does not happen. In that case, the not is 不. And something that hasn't happened or did not happen yet. In that case, not means 没有.
Let me give you an example that will say, the first time my boyfriend and I visited China together as a couple, the most frequently asked question was, "Are you married?" 你们结婚了吗? And if you answer with no, you could answer with 不，我们不结婚. But this would mean, no, we don't marry, generally, which is not the case, and it's not the information I want to give. So I need to express the information we are not married. So what we should say for we're not married is 我们没有结婚. And 没有 represents a status that hasn't happened yet. So strictly taken, it should be translated in English as we haven't married. But we haven't married sounds like this is going to happen someday, so we're just waiting. And it's not the case in Chinese. Saying 我们没有结婚 just means we're not married. It doesn't indicate that we will get married eventually.
Let's say we want to change the sentence, I want to get married. In order to put a not into the sentence in Chinese, you just need to add the not accordingly into it. I don't want to get married. 我不想结婚. Or, if you are determined, you can say 我不结婚. If you just want to say I am not married, it is 我没有结婚. This works generally, such as 我今天不吃饭. I don't eat today. I won't eat anything today. 我今天没有吃饭. I haven't eaten today. Or 我不买车. I don't buy cars. And 我没有买车. I haven't bought a car. I don't have a car.
But just like in English, how to say not is not something you can learn in 10 or 20 minutes without a solid understanding of how English works. How to say no, don't, haven't, why not, and all possible expressions requires systematic lessons. So please be patient and try to build a real connection with the Chinese language instead of rushing into how to say this and how to say that. So how to say no in Chinese? The answer is easy. No in Chinese is 不. Don't get fooled by people who list a huge variety of possibilities to express no. This exists in every language, in Chinese too. They just mixed up no with not, which is also easy in Chinese. Whenever you need to say not, you need to divide. Is this something that never happens? If yes, then it's 不. Or is it something that just hasn't happened yet? If this is the case, then it's 没有. It's just as simple as that.
To finish this up, let's get back to the question categories. As already mentioned, you will need systematic lessons to learn how to say not in Chinese. And in this case, the categories are all only simple present cases. So no need to use 没有 here. 不 will work both as no and not. Let's take a closer look at the 5 categories. How to answer these questions with no? The first category is questions about facts. Is the Earth round? 地球是圆的吗? And the no in Chinese is 不，地球不是圆的。The second category is questions about statuses. Is the school far away? 学校远吗? And the no in Chinese is 不远 or 不太远. Of course, full sentences are always an option, such as 学校不远. The third category was an offer, such as would you like some tea? 你想喝茶吗? It literally means do you want some tea? If you want to be honest and you don't want to drink tea, you can simply say 我不想喝茶 or the short form 不想. Because it is one thing to accept a nice gesture and show your friendliness to say yes. It is another thing that you always have the right to refuse someone. And it's up to you if you want to be subtle. That's why a yes to this question is good or good idea in Chinese, telling a positive answer, but a no is still a no, 不. Of course, the option of being polite is always there. Here, the politer answer would be 不用了, no need to, so no trouble. When it's about a question of requests, it works just like yes. Can I watch TV now? 我可以看电视吗? And the no to this question is 不可以. Or, if you want to put it into an entire sentence, you can also say 你不可以看电视. And the last category was a question of choices. Are you cold or not cold? 你冷不冷? And if you're not cold, the answer is 不冷 or 我不冷.
So that is it for today. I hope you can now say no clearly in Chinese, and I hope this video helped you gain an easier access to the Chinese language. If you liked this video, please like it. And if you haven't, please subscribe to follow all the courses that I publish every week on YouTube for free, because together we can make Chinese easy.